And welcome back to the Hall Prison Universe. I'm King HP, otherwise known as Father, and
I am Kier. So now that we've both seen Venom Let There Be Carnage, we're going to give you our spoiler-free review. Now remember, this is just our opinion, what we personally thought about the film. So, maybe you might feel different than we do. But first, I want to get into the good stuff. What was good about the film?
a lot of good points. I think visually, the film was there. And what I mean by visually, the Carnage transformations.
Carnage looked great. So did Venom.
Whoever did visual effects for this movie, people need to take note, right? And I say that because so many movies don't really look, they're like over CGI'd, or they're like, it's not. No, this was on point. Carnage looked great. I was very impressed with Carnage, and that's how I expect him to look. So if they do a sequel or something like that, or another storyline,
maybe they could add like a little bit more black to him,
or maybe make him a different Carnage with the symbol on his head.
No, that's a whole different story.
I know. I want to see it. I want to see a maximum Carnage. I want to see. We go back to the film, right? So yeah, visually, I thought the film was excellent.
Also, I think the relationship between Eddie Brock and Venom, I think, was better in this film than it was in the last. I don't think it was bad in the last film, but I just think they improved.
Would you say it's more improved? Yeah, there you go.
It improved by quite a bit. I think that the fight scenes are also very good. There wasn't many of them. Well, not really between Carnage and Venom. There was like one, but it definitely paid off.
Spoiler free.
And so it's not really a spoiler. Like, what am I really?
So the fight scenes is dope.
I think
it's just not as action packed maybe as we would have liked it. But when the action is in, the action is hitting.
Yeah,
the action is hitting.
I also think that they do a lot of stuff. It's not in a short time frame, and I think that's good in some cases because you get to the point almost immediately.
I'm not gonna agree with you.
Well,
I wanted more.
I wanted more.
You gave me 90 minutes, which is cool, right? They were able to get to their points, like you said, quickly.
But now we gotta get into it. It's good at some parts, but it's not good at other parts. Like, if you want to see Venom and Carnage fighting, then 90 minutes is a pretty good runtime because you get to it pretty quickly.
At the end of the day, I needed more.
Yeah.
I needed more backstory, and I wanted to focus more on Carnage. Because, let's be clear, Carnage is probably more popular than Venom. It's pretty close. I would give it to Venom, but if I put a poll up and get 5,000 people to vote, you're going to have a lot of votes for Carnage. You're going to probably have at least 40%. I think he's that close in popularity to Venom. People know Carnage. People always understand the Spider-Man and Venom have to take on Carnage. He's too much for either one of them. He will beat any one of them solo. And yet we did a solo movie with Carnage. And I felt that was kind of like misused. I don't want to say it was rushed. You told us in the last movie he was coming. But again, when I look at these movies, he fought symbiotes in the first one. And he's fighting symbiotes again. What's the difference of the symbiotes?
From what I remember.
Oh, that's a red one.
From what I remember, there wasn't really too much of a difference between Riot and Carnage, other than, and I also feel like
the distinction wasn't made.
Yeah.
Clear, right? Like, I'll ask this question: if Riot fights Carnage from the movies, not comic book histories, nothing, just straight off what you saw in the movie, who wins?
I couldn't tell you. I mean,
you see what I'm saying? It's that close. Like, we didn't and that's where I have a problem. We didn't have an escalated threat. We had like the same level of threat. It just came from a different source.
Yeah.
Right? Like, okay, we know Cletus Cassidy. We know he was locked up. We know he's a sociopath or psychopath, or he's a path that we just don't want to cross, right? And he's definitely the path we're not going to walk down, right? But ultimately, I in the first movie, Buddy had financial NASA ties to get up to space. I felt like it was the same character. We just
different colors.
So we just put a different color.
So you can
on
like see him fight this time because in the last one you couldn't really see them fight. You had like two dark symbiotes.
Yeah, again, that was a bad CG. I think they learned their lesson from that though.
Yeah.
Because this is why I think made the fight scenes. Okay, so looking at this and comparing to the first one, fight scenes were good in the first one. I thought, just not very visual.
It's hard to see.
It's not very visible. Like so that makes me have to scale it down, right? Because I'm like, well, if I can't really see it, I can't really tell. I could see this. Okay? But again, I didn't feel like it was an escalated threat.
Yeah.
I really felt like Venom.
Also, I
never felt like Venom was in any real danger.
They gave a lot of backstory with Cletus Cassidy, but they didn't really give a lot of backstory with Carnage. Like, you don't really understand Carnage's motive at all.
Right. So
he kind of just does what he does just because he feels like it, just because he felt like doing it. Like he doesn't.
And we're kind of left in the dark.
Yeah. Why do you want to kill Venom? Well, it's not a spoiler. We all know he wants to kill Venom.
Let's not go too deep into that though.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I just don't want to go because I don't technically. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm doing a good job with it. Right. But to your point, I gotta agree with that too. I mean, 100%. I felt like there was not enough story arc, character development for Carnage.
And I think you really need that with Carnage because Carnage is, like you said earlier, about as popular, or if not a little bit less popular than Venom. And personally, Carnage is my second favorite villain of all time, right behind Gore the God Butcher, who's going to be in Thor 4. But we can talk about that later because
we're gonna have to. We're gonna have to.
There might be a little bit of ties into there. But yeah, like I said, he's like the second most popular symbiote behind Venom. So you're gonna have to give him backstory.
He's about as popular. He's one of the most popular Spider-Man villains. Yeah. Like he literally talk like people like Hobgoblin, Carnage. Like I'd rather see Carnage. Don't this predates you. But for some of my older heads out there, don't act like you ain't had that Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis Maximum Carnage game or wasn't trying to get it. That put the kids to bed. Remember, you could be Spider-Man or Venom. I'm sorry, I just had a flashback.
Also, I think the movie would have benefited a lot more with the R rating instead of a PG-13 because Carnage isn't a PG-13 villain. Like I can't really see him being in a PG-13 villain in a movie.
You know what? Now that you say that, I'm gonna agree with you, but I'm gonna take it a step further because it's right here in by Halloween. Because remember, this movie got sped up in the release. Yeah. It's supposed to be October 15th, I believe, and it got pushed 2 weeks earlier to the first, right? So give me something scarier, something spooky. Yeah. Make Carnage, like you said, if you give it an R rating, make me feel Venom's in danger. Yeah. Like Venom is. I feel like
if it would have been R rated, then we would have been like, okay, this is the difference between Riot and Carnage, because Carnage is like a menace to society. I mean, you can't just leave this guy out there.
Correct. And again, if you give it that R rating, give me
that gore, that Carnage,
or give me a scare with it, or both. Make Carnage very intimidating. Like, oh my gosh, give me the Thanos feel. Remember watching Infinity War and that music hit?
Yeah, make the legs Iron Man.
Like you knew what time it was. Give me that Heath Ledger Joker feel. If you go back and watch The Dark Knight, every time Joker hit the screen, that music, it was like that string. Go back and watch it, and it built up anticipation because the way the that's a very annoying sound. So I hope you don't have headphones in. But if it built up, right? So it built the suspense, and I felt that was let down. Another point I want to like to make on the Venom movie. All right, we're gonna do I'm doing a few of the negatives, right? He's doing a few of the negatives. Misused characters.
Yes, I think that was.
You didn't even have to have the girl Shriek, who you featured in the trailer. She was in like the confinement cell at Ravencroft or whatever.
I feel like they did that just to
throw in another character.
Yeah.
Just to have another character.
Sell more toys, I guess.
it's
There ain't nobody finna buy.
Again, this is spoiler free, so I can't go into it. Not, come on, man. Come on, man. We just doing stuff just to do it, just to throw it in a film for the shock, the awe effects. But it's like, then you're like, well, I now you have questions a lot, and you're like, you're just not getting them answered. So then, but then Venom and Carnage, and then Carnage, and then so you kind of like don't worry about it. But then when you think back, you're like, man, why did they even? What was the point? What was the point? So I misuse characters, man. Let's not throw characters in, and this is why I feel like the MCU has done well, where they didn't just throw Beta Ray Bill into Thor Ragnarok, but then instead they had the Easter egg in there for him, and they didn't use him in Endgame, and he was dressed. You can see the behind the scenes. They literally had him. Nah, we're not going to introduce a character of that magnitude and then not be able to tell a story with him, right? So we're not going to do that. Throwaway characters, or can use Howard the Duck, but then you see him constantly a little bit here and there, getting a little bit more into his character. You could have did that maybe with her, but with the person, but just keep it at Carnage. I don't want to know about nobody else and his associates.
Also, I didn't really want Carnage telling any jokes. He told like one joke, but I don't really think it delivered that well. Like, I just feel like there's some villains that just shouldn't tell, like Thanos. Like, when did Thanos tell a joke?
He doesn't tell jokes.
And
I
can see Thanos telling a joke more than Carnage is, because he does like a little bit in the comics. Like, Thanos tells like a few, not much, but like you could probably slip a joke in with it. Like Carnage,
they did on What If.
Yeah.
I'm mad. Like, but it was a reference to being the Mad Titan, right? Like, or you know what I'm saying? Like, that's about as jokey as he's gonna get. My man's is no joke, and I felt like Carnage, right? He should not have been like that.
Same with Venom a little bit. I feel like they're making him like too, and I feel like they're doing it.
They're doing it with all the Marvel characters. They're all ha ha he he. Thor didn't come out ha ha he he.
Yeah.
But when he didn't get the money in the box office draw he wanted,
I think it works. I think it works with some characters like Thor, because yes, Thor wasn't really working with audience that well. Well, his movies weren't. I think people like the character Thor, but it's just his movies weren't really connecting. So like, you know what? Let's switch it up a bit, and it's working. I like it personally.
I feel like that's gonna be the downfall of the MCU.
I do,
because a lot of characters from Tony, like, okay, everybody's a jokester from Doctor Strange to like, and there's level of the jokesters, but the more jokier Joker people who are like everything they say is like trying to be funny or set up for a punchline for someone else to chime in and be funny. It's like Drax, Spider-Man, Mantis, Star-Lord. Now look how many people from that is in one movie. Mantis, Drax, and
Star-Lord. It's hard to kind of connect when it gets emotional. You
know, and then you have, and as you peel out from that, you have Ant-Man.
And when you have your funny characters, jokes,
even Captain America every so often he'll pop a language, but they don't use it like he's popping the joke, but it's a setup for someone else to come in like Tony Stark and be like, Cap, watch your mouth. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's just getting watered down. Cody, War Machine was giving out jokes and boom, drop that on your whatever he,
like,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
there's always got to be that laughing stock. And I don't think it's always bad because, like I said, I think it works with some films like The Guardians. Like, I really don't know if The Guardians would be as good as they were if it wasn't without like the jokes.
I agree.
I don't think they would have connected with audience that good. And you have your funny characters like Spider-Man. I think Ant-Man worked well because they used Scott Lang. But if it was
Paul Rudd was perfect, man. You talk about perfect casting.
You can't use Paul Rudd and make him
serious. Yeah, absolutely. But as far as the review for this, overall, what do you think of the film? I have 2 ratings for it.
Yeah, actually, same. I think as a film, as an overall film, I think I'd give it about a 5 out of 10 as an overall film. But for personal enjoyment, because I know we've just been talking a bunch of bad about it, and we still didn't get to really like some of the good stuff.
We can do that too. We can do that in a split second. Hold on, go ahead.
But I think in personal enjoyment, I think I was in the theater, I was smiling, I was laughing. So I think as an enjoyment rating, I would give it about a 9. And then the end credit scene is about a 10. Just itself. I think the end credit scene carries the movie.
It definitely does.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with you were more harsh than me. As an overall movie, I give it a 6. And mind you, a 5 to me is just an average movie. I'll catch it on DVD, catch it on one of the streaming platforms. Would I go to a movie to see it? Well, here's the answer to that. I rated a 6, right? But I was highly entertained. Yeah. And so my entertainment rating would be like an 8.8, 8.5. Like, things that go well for the movie. The jokes, the character development of Venom, right? And seeing what Eddie Brock and Venom and how they coexist. They did that well. And they continue to improve on that from the first movie. The comedy. Venom is comedy. Either. Is that Arnold in the back? Like, either. You say neither, I say either. Like, it's just going. So they got that going for him. And he's a great character to have as an anti-hero, right? And then also, with that being said, you left room for future Venom sequels. And watch the other video.
Yeah.
Watch the other video. This is spoiler free.
Watch the movie and then watch the new video. Or if you don't really care about seeing it, maybe like, you know what? They said it's not good. I think it's I think it's good, but not good. Like, I think it's like a fun.
It was worth the price of my ticket.
Yeah,
I'll say that. I wasn't mad that I paid, or I wasn't mad that I had a download, or I wasn't mad that I sat through 90 minutes. No, it was none of those type of feelings.
I know we just pooped all over it on the review, but I actually do like.
I don't think we really did. I mean, we
talked about the bad stuff more than we did the good stuff. Like 80% of this film, this video.
The film's only 90 minutes. So if someone wants to get mad at whoever authorized and stamp that. 90 minutes.
If it was like 2 hours, I think it would be a lot better. I'd probably give maybe like a 6, 7.
Because you can elaborate more. Even put a couple little more fight scenes or something, or just a couple little robber scenes where or where Carnage goes crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we can see the full display and really feel like Eddie Brock was in danger. And I really didn't feel like he was, even when he was like, oh-ish. And
I feel like they did that just so they can be like,
comic scene, though. Comic scene, and it worked because once he, you know what I'm saying, boom, 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 it worked. I didn't want to say it because spoiler review, but spoiler free review. But that's pretty much all I got for it. You know? All right. Well, with that being said, please leave your thoughts down below in the comments. We'll definitely try to respond to everything as much as we can. And who knows, certain comments sometimes will pop up and become videos because of how fascinating or intriguing they are. So definitely leave a comment below.
And make sure you like the video, like right now. Like right now.
Use your web shooters.
Like right now.
Right?
Why are you not liking the video? Like right now, I'm not kidding. You think I'm playing?
Click the like, click the subscribe right after too. Kidding. Also, make sure the notifications are on so you can get our future drops. We definitely got other videos coming out now. Yeah. We are back. I can't stress this enough. We are back.
Yeah, we're definitely not about to take another
No. There's way too much going on. We got a lot of stuff to cover.
A bunch of stuff to cover. Too much stuff to cover.
And we still got projects coming. We got stop motion. So if you're into that or we're thinking about it, definitely go ahead and be on the lookout for that. But click the notifications. Make sure you turn it on. Subscribe, like, drop, and then share. All right. Thank you for tuning in. Until next time, all praise the universe. We're out.